Hello Libra, welcome to your reading. Hope you're all well. I'm going to do a love tarot reading for you guys today, see what you've got going on. Please take what resonates and leave what does not. If the message doesn't fit, don't force it to. It's not your message, it's for somebody else. It's the 18th of January 2026. Let's see what we have for Libra in love. Messages for Libra in love. Messages for Libra in love. All right, you've got the Four of Pentacles in reverse, the Devil in reverse, the Ten of Pentacles in the upright, and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So already I get the energy of freeing oneself from something that is up and down with regards to stability. Kind of holding on to it, but knowing that you need to let go. Some sort of lost opportunity or a bad investment, but it was possibly quite an abundant sort of investment, or perhaps it included family or money or that kind of thing. But releasing yourself from something here that was possibly stable at one point, but it's not anymore. And you're kind of trying to let go here, trying to release something that you've held on to, possibly for quite some time. Let's start clarifying and see what these might be about. Four of Pentacles, Nine of Wands in reverse energy. Yeah, feeling overwhelmed, kind of defeated. Something's been a battle here, and you've held on, but now you're kind of needing to let this go because it's just too much. You've lost your courage for it. You got no strength left for it. To carry on battling here. Yeah, Seven of Wands. I never know where to place cards when they flip out like that, because I didn't ask for clarity. I'm going to put that next to the other wand because it's a Seven of Wands in reverse, and again it's feeling defeated. You've lost the, what's the point of you're feeling very defeated here, overwhelmed, surrendering. I've had enough, I'm giving up. Tell me about the Devil. Why is he here for Libra in love? The Two of Swords. So, like I said, you've kind of held on for a while, or you've been resilient, tried to be resilient to this, hold on, kind of stand up or stand firm or just battle on, but you've been very up and down, obviously with the Devil there as well. It's held you for a while. You've been attached to it, and you've kind of been stuck in a place of indecision, in a turmoil, not knowing what to do, or you've been quite stubborn in knowing you've kind of known what to do here, but you've not done that. You've held on to it with kind of gritted teeth. But there's also the Two of Swords is also kind of avoiding confrontation. So it's almost like any way you kind of looked at it, it caused some sort of confrontation or heated argument. There didn't seem a way through here, a way to resolve this, because everything just kind of ended up in some sort of conflict or argument or whatever it was. And you were possibly trying to find a way around this, but everything was just met with a dead end. So you've been kind of stuck, not knowing what to do with this, or trying to perhaps, you know, wanting, I mean, you're a Libra, you're wanting fairness and justice in something. But you're just at the point of maybe not knowing, you know, just you've tried everything perhaps and everything is just not working. It's just a dead end. So you're kind of now thinking, well, it's time to let this go. Ten of Pentacles, King of Wands in reverse, a lot of fire energy here. So you could be dealing with a fire energy, Aries, Leo or Sagittarius. And King of Wands, it's an overbearing energy, lack of direction, lack of vision, impulsiveness. So you could be, you know, there could be someone that you're dealing with that's very kind of impulsive or argumentative or just difficult to deal with. And a Libra is kind of all about balance and fairness and justice and wanting a balanced, fair energy, outcome. But you seem to be, or someone seems to be hitting their head against kind of a brick wall here. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, Two of Cups here. So this could be, you know, with regards to your partner or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband, whoever it is. And there is love there, you know, and perhaps with the Ten of Pentacles as well, it involves family. Perhaps you have children or however it resonates, but it's a partnership here. It's perhaps you're married or it's a long-term commitment. It's about harmony, balance, and mutual attraction and mutual harmony, being on the same page, being on the same team, working together through conflict. And it just seems that although there is love still there, the conflict is kind of outweighing the love, as it were, and the harmony. So tell me about that Seven of Wands. Tell me about the Seven of Wands that came out for the Nine of Wands. Tell me about all this wand energy for Libra. Tell me about the Seven of Wands and why it's here for Libra. The Hierophant. So again, the Hierophant could be about marriage. It could be about social differences, ethical differences, tradition, beliefs, belief systems. Someone here could, with this kind of fire wand energy, it's someone could be very, you're clashing somewhere on your views, on your differences, and you're kind of not able to meet in the middle. Someone thinks very differently from the other person. Someone believes very differently from the other person. It could also mean about spiritual guidance, trying to find some sort of guidance here, trying to ask for some sort of help, a way forward, maybe praying or, you know, meditating, or, yeah, there's the sun that's just flipped out. And you're asking for some sort of guidance here. The sun in reverse. It's someone's unhappy here. It's a dark sort of time. It's kind of quite a dark, negative, depressive. There is no sun. There's no positivity. It can also mean that something is in the darkness. Something you can't find something. The light isn't being shone on something here. There doesn't seem to be a positive way forward. Tell me about the Two of Swords for Libra. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Someone's kind of lacking, someone's being a little bit lazy here, or not putting in the work, not putting in the effort, not doing their share, or just not on, it's not, they're not working towards something here. They're not making effort here. They're kind of just not, they're, you know, perhaps it's to do with money or work, or someone's you know, someone's working all the hours and someone's not bothering to do anything, or however it resonates. It could be about work, finances, or just someone is not doing their fair share here. King of Wands. The Magician in reverse. Magician in reverse can be a card of self-doubt. Feeling doubtful that you have what it takes to create something here. The Magician in reverse can also be a card of kind of manipulation, using one's skills and tools and abilities to get their way with something, to make something happen, but not by the best means possible, not in an honest sort of way. A cunning. The Magician in reverse, he's very cunning. He's very, you know, manipulative. He uses his power to get what he wants. Two of Cups. King of Swords in reverse. This is a very, the King of Swords in reverse, he's quite cold, quite detached here. Quite well, he's a bit uncaring, he's a bit unkind. He doesn't really think about others. He's very closed off, very detached, very cold. Tell me about the Sun. Why did the Sun flip out in reverse for Libra? Excuse me, the Five of Cups in reverse. Acceptance, forgiveness, moving on, accepting what is and what isn't, finding forgiveness for each other, and accepting it for what it is, and moving on, avoiding, you know, any more conflict or disharmony, or something's not going to change, and it's, you know, time to forgive, try and forget, and move on into a better, more peaceful place. Eight of Pentacles. There's that Two of Swords in reverse again. Someone's very stuck here on what to do. Someone, if they go one, they feel like they're kind of, whichever way they go, it's not the right direction to go in. The Magician. Two of Wands in reverse. But it's just something is really stuck here. Very stuck, not going forward. But there's also an air of, can this be worked out? Can this be reconciled? Can this be, you know, can this be resolved? Perhaps this is something that's been going round and round in a circle. King of Swords. Death in reverse. More stagnant, stuck energy. Someone's resisting a change here. Perhaps someone is in that fire energy as well, of being stubborn, not wanting to see something from someone else's perspective. Perhaps their belief system is, this is what I think, this is how it is, and I'm not prepared to see it from any other point of view. And it could be that, but yeah, someone is kind of resisting a change here. Resisting a transition. Resisting an ending. Someone's really kind of holding on. Five of Cups, Three of Wands in the upright. And someone wants to progress, or something is progressing here. The Three of Wands, it's kind of going ahead, looking ahead in a rapid kind of way, perhaps making a decision, making progress, but kind of knowing that a decision needs to be made and progress needs to happen. We can't kind of stay in this resistant, stuck energy forever. Two of Swords. The Emperor. Yeah. Someone is making a decision, bringing order, bringing law and order here, taking the lead here. Someone's putting their foot down and making a decisive, you know, something needs to change here. Something needs to be done. And I'm going to be the one to do it, because this is just not, this is stuck. This is not moving forward. Going round and round in circles. And it needs to change. Two of Wands. The Empress. Okay. The Emperor and the Empress. That is a, well, you can't get much higher in the fire element than the Emperor and the Empress. That is a very, that's a very, that's left me quite speechless actually. Someone's making a decision here. Perhaps you are both making a decision here that something needs to be resolved, and perhaps you are about to get back on the same team, work together, kind of stop this conflict and you know, have a conversation with, you know, coming back to that kind of structured, just being sensible, being grounded, and look, saying like, you know, look, come on here, we can't carry on like this. This has got to be resolved and something needs to change. And perhaps you are kind of at the point of getting over the conflict and thinking, you know, like, this is not helping, this, you know, we need to put our heads together here and see, working as a team, like a power, you know, being a power couple, being, perhaps it's something that you've always done and something's just come up and it's just really put you at loggerheads. But other than that, normally you're very much on the same team. And you want to progress from this. You want to grow from this. You want to overcome this. You want to get back on the Ten of Pentacles energy. You want the solid back. You want the structure back. Growth and stability and structure. You want something to become solid again. The Two of Cups, the Emperor and the Empress. This is, you know, perhaps normally a very, very strong, stable and committed partnership. Death in the reverse. The Seven of Swords. There's, but someone feels like, that there's a deceptive energy here. Someone feels that someone's not been fair, or they've been kind of deceitful or sneaky, or someone's tricked someone here. Someone feels betrayed. Perhaps someone is in some sort of disbelief because there's been some sort of betrayal here, or deception, and it's really caused someone a, you know, a real moment of, they've absolutely lost their temper, or they're, you know, feeling really not very happy by this at all. Three of Wands. Queen of Cups in reverse. And someone has kind of shut themselves off, or kind of thought about themselves here. Perhaps there's been some, like I say, with the Magician, the Seven of Swords, the Devil energy. Perhaps there has been some sort of deceit here, or unfaithfulness, or, you know, just something that's caused a real rift in an otherwise very solid kind of partnership. The Emperor, Page of Cups in reverse. Yeah, and someone's now feeling like someone else can't be trusted here. Feeling disappointed and insecure and doubtful, and someone's acted a little bit emotionally immature here and unstable, and it's you know, it's just left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. The Emperor, sorry, the Empress, please, for Libra. Why is the Empress here? Justice. There you are, Libra. There you are. Justice, fairness, truth, clarity, equality, balance, cause and effect, law. Perhaps someone is needing to take accountability for something here. Someone has possibly done something a little bit deceitful here, and they need to take accountability for their actions. They need to, you know, there needs to be truth and clarity here before the situation can be resolved. And perhaps this is you, Libra, perhaps, and with the Empress as well, you want the truth, you want the clarity, you want the fairness, you want the balance, but you want the truth before anything resolves here. You want the truth of the matter. And without, you know, that is I feel like that's a non-negotiable at this point. Someone here is very much in the Emperor energy, Empress energy, more in the Emperor energy. Someone is kind of putting their foot down here and saying, like, what's going on? What on earth is going on here? Seven of Swords. Queen of Pentacles. You know, someone here wants to bring back stability, and someone's kind of they kind of want peace here. They want to nurture the situation and bring it back around, but they're not going to keep going around in circles. And again, perhaps this does involve family, children, stuff like that. Someone's willing to put in the effort. Someone's willing to nurture the situation and kind of bring some sort of stability again. But before that happens, the truth and clarity of the situation needs to be put on the table here. Needs to be discussed, needs to be resolved if it can, before any kind of movement forward or can happen, whatever that may be. Do a couple more. Queen of Cups, Ace of Wands. So perhaps this is a reconciliation. Perhaps you're kind of coming back together to talk after a while, and there's a new possibility for a new beginning, but things very much need to be ironed out. Or perhaps this is a very kind of fiery, passionate relationship that is you know, it kind of holds, it's the glue that holds you together, but it can also get a little bit out of hand, and or it could be just the opportunity for growth and progression in itself. Someone really wants to progress here, go forward, move on. Page Cups, King of Pentacles, lots of kings and queens here, lots of this is quite an important, I feel this is kind of more of a long-term relationship energy that I've got here, that may or may not involve family. You've got the King and the Queen of Pentacles. You've got the Emperor and the Empress. This is very solid. This is very important. This is very, you know, normally grounded, normally solid. You know, perhaps things like this haven't happened before. And I think this is, you know, possibly someone or a couple that have been married for a long time. Or it's just a very solid, stable sort of connection. You're very much usually on the same page. You click, you work together, you know, you're very much together, very much together. But there's something here that has really kind of rocked the boat. But there is very much still on one or two sides the want to kind of work this out, not wanting to let go. Justice. Why is justice here for Libra? Sorry about that. I just had some rustling in the kitchen, so I thought I'd better just stop and let that, you know, let that stop, and then I'd start again. So Two of Swords, again, that frozen with indecision, that not knowing what to do, but perhaps knowing that something has to be done here, but just not knowing what way to go about it, to avoid any further conflict, perhaps. Queen of Pentacles, Five of Swords, making amends. You know, perhaps trying to reconcile this, resolve this, seeing how things can be resolved here. Very much, I'm getting the energy of wanting to work together as a team here to bring some sort of resolve. I'm just going to pause a minute because it's pretty much the end of the read, but I just want to put these into their suits and just to see if I can get some last minute messages or any sort of final things that I might not have picked up on. So one moment. So yeah, I'm getting a very stubborn energy here. Someone's very stubborn or very impulsive or just very stubborn in their beliefs. They're not wanting to see something from someone else's perspective or try a new way of working around something here. They're very cold, kind of cut off emotionally, closed off, not listening to someone else's point of view. And someone here, they really want to stabilize this situation. They really want to bring peace, stability back to this, but they're kind of hitting dead ends, and they're very, someone just doesn't know what to do here. Maybe they've thought of every which way they can kind of go about this, but someone is just not, they're not opening up here. They're not kind of, they're not open. They're not open to a new perspective or a new way of doing something. Or they're just not putting in effort. They're not kind of, and someone's just feeling, you know, what's the point? But they really don't want to let this go. because this is possibly otherwise a very stable kind of, you know, relationship. So that's what I have for you, Libra. Hope it helped, hope it resonated. If it did, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more reads. Good luck, best wishes, and until next time, yeah, take care. Bye-bye.